quickly, grab a seat, go ahead and thumbs up the video. Um, I am making this video impromptu. I was in the shower and I had this epiphany when I was in the shower. And I was like, you know what? Let me run into the studio and talk about this real quick. So let me get the text out to the text notification squad so that we can just come in and start having this conversation. Um, yeah, so I'm signing in now to get the text out. Welcome in. I'm your host, Tanya TKO. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a life coach. I'm also a certified matchmaker. And I am coming up with a game that's going to be in a box kind of like this, right? And the game is a game of cards. And I've been thinking about this issue that has been pervasive lately in our and many communities. So, welcome in, everyone. Welcome. 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 Good morning, everyone. We're not going to be on here for long because I'm going to be running out. So let me just send out this message to the text notification squad. And then from there, I'm going to go live on the other platforms. And then from there, we're going to have our discussion. So if you're just getting in, just know that you got here early. So that's good. Go if you drink coffee or you do coffee enemas, now is not the time perhaps to do an enema, because if we start talking about some things that got you clenching or laughing and loosening, you don't want to do all of that. So if you drink coffee or your orange juice or whatever, go grab that now, because I'm just getting the links together. We're going to be talking about men and this statement that they love to say, this is why you can't keep a man. This is what we're going to be talking about. Let me just grab the link real quick from YouTube to send this out to the text notification squad. How is everybody doing this morning? How is everyone doing? I'm not dressed. Do not send me any super apples for me to be jumping around and this towel fly off. I don't even know why I said that, because I don't want to tempt anybody to do no foolishness, right? So let's just keep it nice and calm and nice and classy this morning, because I just wanted to come out and just do this real impromptu and just talk for a moment. Can we talk for a moment? Boy, I want to. Let me just get this link and stop playing games and get this out to the text notification squad. Let's see. And then we're going to go live on these other platforms. I just added that in. Let me type come over, hashtag TKO, text squad. All right, you're about to get your notification right now. Okay, herbal tea. That's good. That's good. That's how we like to do. All right. So I just sent the text out. Crystal is working out. That's perfect. That's perfect. I'm getting ready to do some of my makeup. I'm waiting for the text notification to go out. For those of you who've been wondering about the vitamin E, I do a sale once a year in the spring. However, I'm working on getting some warehouse space and some fulfillment at the warehouse. And then I know Tanya Walker is not misspelling my name. Oh my goodness, this early. So I'm gonna forgive you all. I'm gonna forgive the misspellings. My name is Tanya with an O, child. Tanya TKO. All right, so let's get cracking. The text just went out to the text notification squad. So let's go ahead and go live on these other platforms. Welcome in, text notification as you come in. Go ahead and throw up your 1010s. You know what? Let's do some. Okay. Thank you to all of the people who helped me on my alternate channel get the audio back together, because we went into a vortex. So come on, let's get live on these other platforms. Hey, live on the other YouTube page, live on Twitter, live on Facebook, and we're even going live on LinkedIn naked. Hey. All right, that's enough. Come on in. Let's have a talk real quick. have a talk. We've been um we've been arguing on my Facebook page over the past few days, right? And the arguments have pretty much been about the first of all, this article came out talking about the rise of single lonely men and how men are out here in these streets. And for those of you who work in the criminal justice system, those of you who work in the legal field, you know that there's been a rise in DV, a rise in Vs, Rs, SAs against women, right? There's been just a rise across the board. We've been seeing these videos of men trying to burst into people's women's homes with gloves and zip ties and all types of craziness. People caught on Ring cameras, and those are the ones that we catch. My friends who are in the legal field are talking about the rampant, like the stuff that doesn't even get reported on the news, right? I want to talk about this sentiment because in the comments area on my Facebook page, there are all of these men, and the general consensus, and when we talked about my game that I'm coming up with. It's going to be in a box sort of like this. My box has more colors in it. This is just a sample from the manufacturer. My cards are also going to be thicker than these. And I'm going to add some questions in there for you to be able to weed out men who have these manospheric mindsets, the manosphere mind, these red pill, incel, MGTOW mind, because these misogynistic ideals and ideas are very toxic to women. And you need to be able to know whether or not this man is harboring these thoughts and ideas inside of his mind. But let's talk about what it is that I came out here to talk about today. That's why you can't keep a vampire. I was in the shower before I decided to just jump on impromptu and make this video, right? And when I was in the shower, I had this epiphany. Look, I bathe with Castile soap sometimes as well as black soap, and that the scent of the mint this morning. Plus, I didn't meditate this morning, but I will. I did a 40-minute yoga session, and so my energy is just really high vibrating right now, right? I was in the shower, and I was thinking, why are all these men pretending? They come out with these sentences like, that's why you can't keep a man. What is there to keep, really? What is there to keep? I'm serious. It's like now let me just say this for the record. Are there good men out there? Yes. There are amazing men out there. I have only dated amazing men. I meet amazing men. However, in the weeding out process, I meet a lot of men who are subpar, just energy just doesn't vibrate. I come from a long line of women who are very intuitive, who are able to really future project. I can project my consciousness into the future and see what the future of an interaction looks like, male or female. And by and large, there are a lot of men that I just avoid because I can see through the effery and the BS when it starts coming in early on, especially when they're in that honeymoon phase where they're like all infatuated with you and all of that, right? Okay. There are some good men out there, yes. But is the average man a good man? With the way that we're socializing boys, with the ways that we are not encouraging boys to find healthy outlets for emotional expression, for their violence and aggression, for the internal work that they need to do. We have a lot of men that are continuing to come out here talking about how women can't keep them. And I'm like, to what detriment? It's like saying, that's why you can't keep a vampire. You have a person sucking on your neck, bleeding you dry. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was telling me about that. She says she was on Facebook and she saw a picture of a man holding up the earth on his back, right? And she was like, that picture is, because she was like, I saw that picture of a man, and I was like, yeah, and there was a woman right next to him, and he was leaning on her, and the earth was falling and all of this, right? And she was like, no. She was like, that wasn't the picture. It was just a picture of a man holding up the earth on his back. And she was like, that is not an accurate depiction because, well, of course, it was a black man because no other race of people be making them stupid images, right? And she was like, no, this image is wrong because it's really women. It's really women who be holding up the weight of the world on their back. They're holding up the children, they're holding things down. And it's really women who are really holding up the weight on their back. And I listened to what it was that she was saying. And I thought about the nature of men. And even so much so is this propaganda. The propaganda that men are constantly pushing out there. The propaganda of, yeah, I'm holding the world. Oh, I'm doing all this, that, and the other. When it's really women who are carrying men emotionally. Some women are carrying men financially, carrying the family psychologically. And meanwhile, what I see are husks of women out there. Please do not post any links. The person who posted, let me go ahead and put you in an inability to be able to you can't post anymore. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is that you're posting, but this is not the time and place for all of that. If you have a link you want to send me, you can send it to me privately, but do not advertise in my comments, right? So nonetheless, right? Somebody said the image comes from Greek mythology. I hear you. I hear you, but still we are constantly promoting these images in the Black community as if it is Black men that have been holding down our community. And that has not been the case. I have so many Black men in my comments who are constantly talking about how a woman's worth is derived from how well she can hold on to a man. But I'm like, to what end? What is it ultimately? I mean, it's like, are these men not aware of male behavior out here in these streets? Are they not aware that men, by and large, are just very selfish people who are takers? Who will sit there and continue to take and take and take. And the crazy part about it is I was having a conversation with a guy about a week ago, right? And the conversation that we were having is we were talking about male nature and female nature, and I was like, women are natural receivers and men are natural givers. And he was like, no, men, and he was like, no, that's backwards because men are natural takers, right? And I was like, no, 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 dear. I was like, no, 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 no. I use the word receive. I was like, you can even see it in the biology of women. Women are natural receivers and good men are natural givers. They want to see that their woman is taken care of. They want to see that their woman is provided for. They want to see that their woman is able to rest in her feminine. A good man really wants to see that. But I thought that there was something profound about what it was that he was saying about how men are natural takers. And to him, in his mind, the word take and receive were synonymous. And I'm like, there's a difference between taking and receiving. Take is active, receive is passive. And so it's like we have these men out here on the internet who are listening to these teachings of other people. I don't know who is saying not true out there, but if you look at the biology of women, women are natural receivers. This is why the male plug is the plug that has the prongs sticking out, and the female plug is the one that has the holes going in. So I don't know what it is that you were referring to, right? So nonetheless, right? So nonetheless, men are constantly entering into relationships, into negotiations with this winner take all, I'm going to conquer, I'm going to dominate attitude. And they're listening to these. Part of the reason that I was thinking about this is because there's some new kitten heels wannabe who's out here on the streets. And he's making videos, he's drinking from a cup, he has on his glasses, he's a young Black male. And now black men are beginning to gravitate to his message because he's saying these abusive messages towards women. And deep inside of their soul, they just need a kitten father. They need a kitten daddy to be there to give those abusive messages to put women in their place so that they can come out and be like, this is why you can't keep a man. But keep a man to what end? Keep him at what cost? Keep him to what detriment to you? It's like they are like they're in this cognitive dissonance where by the mere facet of them even positing phrases like that shows that they're effed up in the head. So all of the men who are saying things like that have deep-rooted misogynistic thoughts and hatred towards women that is making them make the goal to keep and hold on to a person that may be like a cactus in your hand, that you're squeezing and holding on tight in the desperation of wanting to for society to make things work. I've dated a lot of people, and there are a lot of different factors that go into compatibility. It takes more than just a person looking good and being a nice person to be compatible with you. And there are far too many men who look at a simplistic view of relationships. I'm not in the mood to put on a whole bunch of lipsticks and all that other stuff. I just want to, I'm just going out to run some errands. Well, I'm going to go take care of some business, right? Somebody used the word narcissistic. I was looking at a study a few months ago. I did it in a video. And it was stating that that of the people who are diagnosed with narcissism, that the vast majority of them were Black men and Hispanic women. That is where that is how it lie. And I'm not saying this because that's how I feel. That's what the data says, right? If you look up NPD, narcissistic personality disorder by race and gender, you will see, because like the last time I said this in a video, somebody was like some Latinas were coming out and they were like, oh, how dare you say this? You're racist. First of all, Hispanic is not a race. Hispanic just means Spanish speaking. And I don't know what they did to survey to come up with this data, but that is what the data says. I don't have any dog in that fight, right? But nonetheless. And then there's a person that's saying it's both sides that do that. And for people who claim that they are supposedly leaders, right? I find that a lot of Black men are constantly in my comments talking about women do it too. Women do it too. Women take dick up their holes as well. Do you want to you want to do what women do? Huh? Women also take in the look. Come on, you want to do that too? Because you can jump down on your knees and start doing the same things that women do. It's like I just it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. I'm personally embarrassed. God. And then let's get back to the subject at hand, right? And then Renia is saying, who hurt this woman? I'm a life coach. And you see, the thing is that you're so ill-equipped to have a conversation, a real, true conversation, a conversation with integrity, that you will attempt to try to make this about me personally, because you're not really able to open up your eyes and have a truthful discussion about male nature. Behind the scenes, if you ask a man about male nature, they will tell you that men are like animals. They'll tell you that behind the scenes. They'll be like, oh, men are awful creatures, right? They'll tell you. If you talk to them behind the scenes, that's unless they're trying to get some vagina from you. But if they feel like they ain't got nothing that they want from you, they may tell you the truth. Talk to other men about the truth that they say about mankind themselves. And if you look and be honest about the men who occupy your friend group, your families, it's like women are out here punching in the dark by ourselves because men are constantly purporting a lie in the public that just is not true. this benevolent being of men who are out there altruistic, just helping everybody out is a effing lie. Men are out here helping themselves out, and you see it in the very nature of the type of comments that come in, right? Uh-oh. That's my reminder. So I have about 15 more minutes that I can stay on this live, right? And it's like we can't get on the same page because and we can't find the healing because it's like, you know how you remember when I believe it was Very Smart Brothers wrote that article and they were like black men are like the white people of black people. Because it's like they'll be standing there with their foot on your neck, and if you have enough air in your windpipe to be able to speak up about getting a foot off your neck, they'll say that you're discriminating against them. Like how dare you speak up? That's sexist. That's misandrous to speak up. And then so Rennie is saying, so women are innocent of all of this. Listen, male nature and female nature are very different. Male nature is competitive. Female nature is cooperative. It's like I just don't understand. I don't understand how they want to sit here in these comments and gaslight. Nigga, if you can't have a serious, true conversation, get the fuck out. It's like, go. It's like, if you're not here to actually have an honest conversation about what's really, truly going on out here, especially with Black people, every 6 hours, according to FBI data, this is not something that I pulled out my pussy. Every 6 hours, a Black woman is unalived by a man in this country. Every 6 hours. The FBI data is there for you to look at. And this number, it was in 2019, the number was every 19 hours. It was either 2012 or 2019. It was every 19 hours a Black woman was unalived. But now it's every 6 hours. There's been a sharp increase over the past few years. And it's like, no, nigga, no. Women are not out here taking the lives of men at the rate that men are taking the lives of women. Women are not out here doing DV at the rate that men are doing it at to women. They're not. And also the ramifications of a female punch on a man versus a male punch on a woman is very different. The domestic violence shelters are jam-packed in every city across this country at all times. It's hard to find women beds. And now we got people with penises wanting to go into the women's shelter because these people with penises are saying that they identify as women and now they want to go into the female shelters. And female shelters, there was one in Canada, a major one that was closed down because a person with a penis could not stay there. And it's like at many different angles. So come on. Come on. It's like, don't sit here slapping me in the face. And when I'm like, ow, my cheek hurts, you like, well, everybody's cheeks hurt. Come on, you're slapping me. It's just, it's ridiculous. I don't get it. And Imani says, because some men act like they own you even when you've broken up with them. Valerie says, Tanya, I definitely can't deal with the effery. Herbalist says, they be lying on Black men. That's white behavior. You know, I have a friend who works in the court system. She is there at the arraignments. She sees the face of who is committing these crimes. More than 90% of the women who are unalived by Black men. Stop it. Stop it. And if you say that that is white behavior, listen, we are here in this country because of Black male behavior. We were put onto boats and taken because of Black male behavior. Let's not talk about DV in Africa, in many different countries. Let's not talk about the devastating effects of age gap relationships on women in African countries. There was a study that was done in Nigeria on the rampant rate of how DV increases with the span of age gap relationships. Let's not talk about how they're still doing child brides in Nigeria. Let's not talk about that. So when we start talking about what's white nature, listen, when I'm walking in the Bronx, I don't have to worry about a white man trying to bop me over the head. I don't have to worry about that. When my friend is in the court system, she in the Bronx, she's not seeing white men as these assailants who are R-wording women as they're trying to go on their way home. And she's like, the men are getting younger and younger. We have issues that are going on, and these issues cannot be solved if we can't have honest discussions about it. Valerie says it's not worth being in a relationship. Self-feed your soul. We are good at feeding the soul if we redirect inward. And Renier is saying, someone get Tanya a white man, please. She clearly hate black men. No, bitch. You hate black men. You hate black men. Because it's a nigga who hate black men who can't sit up there and tell the truth about black men. That's hate right there. Love is when you can have an honest discussion and be like, I see where there are things going wrong and you can do better. That's love right there. Saying you can't do better, so I'm just going to let you self-destruct. That's hate right there. That's hate right there. The Aryan is saying the system is filled with BM because of BM and no one else. Can't put the blame on WM. Listen, there are things that are in place that have created a disadvantage for people of color and black people. Yes. There's a person that's asking, why is this happening? We're all here having a discussion. You tell me why it's happening. I'm not bopping people over the head. I'm not a person with a penis out here acting the fucking fool. Why don't you ask this person inside of the comments, why is he happening to come here to talk about who hate whom when it's really him who hates black men? When it's really him. Why don't you ask him why this is happening? Why don't men come together and ask each other the hell why it's happening? This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Dominique says, not trying to speak for Tanya, but to me, she's holding black men to a high standard and accountable. When black women do that, weak black men say it's hate. Sherwin is saying, please tell me why black men are doing this. You tell me, Sherwin, you're a black man. Why don't you go have some conversations with your friends? Go have some conversations out in the community. Go do some community activism and some efforts in your community, and then come back to me. Go do some mentoring of these young boys who are going out there and using their phallus as a weapon. You come back. And then the Falcon is saying, not all are treasonous. You have to dig to find that good man. Now, it's not in abundance. Well, can you say that the bargain basement has a lot of great designer purses if you got to dig through mountains of other crappy purses in order to get to it? Anyway, my time has come to a close on this video. I just want to summarize with the conversation and the general sentiment being one in which it's constantly being posited to women that they are somehow supposed to keep men at any cost, and negating the fact of how men have shown up and continue to show up in relationships with women. Like, come on. Come on. So they're like, this is why you can't keep a man. But that sentence really translates into, this is why you're not holding on to a person that is systemically and societally more likely to cause you harm emotionally, physically, because of the lack of accountability, because of the lack of doing internal work, because of the lack of promoting mental health care for men. So it's like, why are we trying to pretend as if these relationships, and listen, I believe in relationships. This is why I decided to become a certified matchmaker. I believe in relationships. However, every relationship is not meant to last. Some relationships come in to show you what it is that you don't want. And why is it that men are pretending as if men come into these relationships perfect, with no inner childhood work that needs to be done, with no demons that need to be excised, that they don't have mental health issues, aggression issues, lack of emotional intelligence? Like, as if some of these relationships are not toxic and not meant to be held on to. Why is it that we don't give women the latitude to be able to release relationships which do not serve her? Keep a man? What is the average man doing and showing up with in relationships, and women who are in long-term committed monogamous relationships and marriages know and understand how difficult it was to not only find that man, but also the difficulties that exist in that relationship. Do not let anybody tell you that their relationship is perfect. I am telling you that these relationships out here are rife with the things that cause tremendous personal shift and need for growth. There's some people who, and listen, if you think about it, DV exists, but we don't really know about the people who are suffering from DV until after the relationship is over. But from the outside, everything looks so good. But behind the scenes, I mean, the numbers are out there. 1 in 6 girls will be SA'd in her life, most before the age of 18. They say that 40% of teenage pregnancies are caused by grown men between the ages of 20 and 29. So it's like, come on. Why can't we have a real conversation? Let me just say this, because it seems like we're not going to be able to have a conversation with integrity. Let me just say this to women. If you are in a relationship which is toxic, a relationship which does not serve you, a relationship which you realize that your esteem is being deteriorated, that your self-love is under attack in this relationship, that you came in feeling one way about yourself, and somewhere along the lines that got flipped upside down because of something that exists inside of this relationship, please, fuck what society says, fuck what Big Mama got to say with that's why you can't keep a man. Fuck all of that. Get the hell out of this relationship if you need to save yourself and your children. Do what you have to do. Call the hotline. Find some therapy to be able to help you repair emotionally, financially, to be able to do the things that you need to do to go take care of yourself and make sure that you and your children or your future children are safe. Fuck that whole, that's why you can't hold on to a cactus. That's why you can't keep a vampire that's on your neck sucking the life out of you. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. Please, I give you permission that if you need to leave and you're ready to leave and you're afraid that people are going to be, that there were so many people at your wedding and you're afraid to let people know that shit wasn't as you promoted it. It's all right. We make mistakes. Don't let your ego keep you in a situation that is toxic for you. Don't let the cost of the wedding and how you made this promise before man and God If you are in danger and you know that you're in danger, please, you've got to do the things that you need to do to get yourself to safety. Fuck society. I care about you. Fuck this whole, that's why you can't hold the, fuck that. I don't care how much your wedding costs. I don't care how many people were there and who put on their good Sunday hats. I don't care. I don't care. We all make mistakes. Nobody out here is free of mistakes. No one. And if there were people who warned you about this person and you don't want to prove them right by being like, you know what, you were right, so you holding on to the cactus, meanwhile your hand is bleeding. Okay, if they were right, that's fine. We all make mistakes. Listen, don't let your ego force you to try to prove people wrong when you know deep in your heart that they're right. Listen to the people who are closest to you, who are healthy mentally, who care about you. If they are picking up on early warning signs that you're not able to see because you're in a love haze, take some time to ask them some questions, and then take those questions and you can even ask your significant other because they're picking up on something for a reason. Listen, listen. There are other women out there who understand. We understand, okay? You've invested a good chunk of your life in this relationship. If you give up now, you would have wasted all. No, those years were not wasted. There's no waste when there's a lesson involved. There's no waste. How much more time are you going to throw in? There's this saying in real estate about throwing good money after bad money, that you have to cut your losses at some point. So listen, I hear you. I hear you. You know what? I want you all in the comments. Let's do this before I get out of here because I got to get out of here, right? I want you all to type some of the reasons, and this is for women. I want you to type some of the reasons that you stayed in toxic relationships too long. Some of the reasons that you stayed too long. And what was it that made you finally take a turn and be like, you know what, forget the fact that I spent $25,000 on the wedding. Forget the fact that I didn't want to think that I failed. I didn't want to give up. I want you to tell me, what were some of the reasons? I mentioned some inside this video. So I want you all to say, what were some of the reasons that you stayed? What were some of the reasons that you hung on to a situation that was dangerous, devastating, decimating for you? Stayed because of the children, convenience, because I didn't want to be by myself. Let's hear. Let's hear some of these. I didn't want to be shamed for being single. I thought I could change him. We get used to the abuse. Fear of ending up broke and homeless. Scared to get out because of DV, no support. Wanted to be in a relationship. He forcefully took my V. Sometimes we stay because you're financially dependent. I stayed in a toxic relationship because I had poor self-esteem, failure, and kids. Not loving myself. I stayed because I was scared he would pay me. I wouldn't want to fall low self-worth. I didn't want to raise my 2 boys without a man. Paralyzed with fear of being physically harmed. Okay, children, because I thought the good outweighed the bad. Sorry, never stayed, rather be by myself. I'm asking, this is not the time for you to say what you didn't do. I'm asking the people what they did do. Ironically, it was my staying that nearly resulted in my D. Well, DEATH. I did 14 years because I wasn't taught any better. If you don't know better, you don't know better. Didn't want to start over with someone else. You know, I'm going to say this for the young lady who he forcefully took your V. That is a tactic that men use, that some men, because I believe the statistic was a man who SAs women, that on average he SAs about 16 women in his life. So that is a tactic. They know that society will shame you for having had intercourse, even if that intercourse were by force. They know that you're more likely to stay with them after intercourse. So some men work extra hard to try to force it on you, coerce you into it, because they know that you're more likely to be stuck on them. So I read a statistic that said after SA, 40% of the women who are SA'd actually go on to try to have consensual intercourse with that man again, because her choice was taken the first time. So then she goes and she's like, well, I'm going to take my power back and do this willingly. It's, a psychological thing going on. And you know what? I'm not only talking about DV either, because someone's saying love to all the survivors. I'm not even just talking about DV. I'm talking about any relationship that was toxic, that wasn't healthy for you, that you decided to hold on to. I want to know the reasons that you decided to hold. Was it shame? Was it being shamed by the family? Was it you didn't want to be alone? Was it you didn't want to let other people down? You didn't want to prove people right? I want you to just have a conversation in the comments. I am going to get out of here, and I will see you all in the next video. Hopefully I'll be able to get back early enough today from my errand running to be able, you know what, as a matter of fact, let me just say, I'm going to go get my yearly mammogram today. So I want to encourage all women to make sure that they stay on top of their mammograms. There is a rise in, especially women who are caregivers and who are constantly giving. We get ailments in different parts of the bodies where which are symbolic of what do you call this? Symbolic of our behaviors. So for those of us who are constantly giving and giving and giving from the nurturing center, there are women who are coming up with all different types of thyroid stuff, breast issues, uterine issues, all of that. So stay on top of your yearly PAP, stay on top of your mammogram, stay on top of your health, especially if you have been in toxic relationships with men, women, family. Even if you're in toxic relationships, if you're in any type of toxic relationship, make sure that you stay on top of your health. Okay? All right. I love you all very much. Let me give you all a hug. Hug, 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 hug. All right. Go out there and love one another. But most importantly, what? That's right. Love yourself. Oh, somebody says I stayed because Christianity taught me to forgive. Oh, my goodness. That is so important. That is so important. During life coaching, that is one of the things that I heard a lot, that there were a lot of women, because of the teachings of the Bible and how it's been interpreted by their pastors and stuff like that, that they stayed and continued to turn the other cheek until there were no more cheeks left to turn. At least in Islam teaches that if someone hits you this way, that you have the right to hit them right back in the same way. I don't know if that applies to women, because there are also men in Islam who say that they have the right to beat their wives. So I don't know. You all have to tell me. I don't know. But listen, I love you all very much. I will see you all in the next video. Hanya TKO, and I am out. Peace. Go ahead and tell me what is the self-love lesson that you learned from today's video. Type SLL and type the self-love lesson in the comments below. Go ahead and thumbs up the video. Come to my website, join my mailing list so that you can be on the list for when my game comes out. It's called Are You the One for Me? And it's a list of over 100 questions that you must ask your partner. On the back of each card, you're going to be using a decoder, and the decoder is going to help you know how to interpret their answers. Because I do a lot of interviews behind the scenes, and because I'm a naturally curious and inquisitive person, I know how to ask these probing questions to get past the honeymoon stage, to really have a person reveal who it is that they are. So the questions are not really straightforward. They're more scenario based, so that you can get him to talking, so you can get his mind, so that you can understand how his mind is working. That way you can weed out misogynistic ideas, toxic ideas, as well as figure out whether or not this person is a good match for you, because these questions will help reveal whether or not a person has ideals that are in line with yours. So I will see you all in the next video. I love you all very, very much. Peace.